Broadly speaking, the church tends to relate anxiety to spiritual growth in one of two ways. The first is that anxiety is viewed as an obstacle to spiritual growth. The second is that anxiety is viewed as irrelevant for spiritual growth. With the first way, where anxiety is an obstacle, imagine this is your anxiety. You're here and Jesus is up here. In this approach, anxiety is viewed as blocking you from Jesus. Anxiety is a problem, maybe even a character flaw, perhaps even a sin. Anxiety is evidence that you don't have enough faith. So in this approach, you're like me as that 7-year-old. You feel that somehow you're not supposed to feel this way. So with anxiety as an obstacle, the approach is to get rid of the anxiety as fast as possible. Just have faith, just pray, and anxiety is supposed to go away. And after you push an anxiety away, then you grow closer to Jesus. This view, anxiety as obstacle, is actually not the biblical picture for how anxiety and spiritual growth are meant to be related. With the second main way, anxiety as irrelevant for spiritual growth, anxiety is treated as a mental health condition to manage over here, while spiritual growth towards Jesus happens out here. Anxiety and spiritual growth are separated. In many secular mental health approaches, spiritual growth is fine, but it's supposed to happen somewhere else. It's irrelevant to treating anxiety. And the primary treatment goal of mental health over here is to lower anxiety. Common anxiety lowering approaches would be therapy, especially what's known as cognitive behavioral therapy, and also medication. Now, let me be clear. I believe there's great value in treating anxiety as a mental health condition. I myself have benefited from both cognitive behavioral therapy and medication, and I am all for lowering anxiety. But by failing to integrate spiritual growth, it misses the redemptive potential of anxiety. It misses how anxiety can actually transform us spiritually and lift us towards Jesus. We will approach anxiety as an opportunity for spiritual growth. The goal is to grow towards Jesus through our anxiety. It's not an obstacle. It's not some character flaw that we have to get rid of. And spiritual growth doesn't happen outside of anxiety. Rather, anxiety is the place where we meet Jesus. It's through anxiety that we actually draw closer to Him. And indeed, here will be the big secret. It's by going through anxiety that we actually become more like our crucified Christ.